If you want to change your life forever, you don't need luck, you don't need some secret, and you certainly don't need permission. What you need is clarity, intention, and the courage to execute. Change doesn't come from one dramatic moment. It comes from stacking small, intentional actions that compound over time, and there are 3 that, if you adopt them relentlessly, will alter the course of your life. This isn't hype, it's biology, it's psychology, and it's strategy. The first thing you must do is master your mornings. That first hour after you wake up, it's not just time, it's your command center. Your brain is in a unique neurochemical state right after waking, heightened plasticity, primed for learning, sensitive to suggestion. What you feed it in that hour shapes your cognition, your mood, and your decision making for the rest of the day. Don't scroll, don't react. Instead, move your body, get sunlight, breathe with intent. Prime your brain. You want to wire discipline into your nervous system. Start with the sunrise. Second, train discomfort like a muscle. Everyone wants resilience, but few are willing to earn it. You don't develop grit reading about it. You build it by leaning into challenge daily. Whether it's cold exposure, intense focus, or hard conversations, controlled stress isn't just tolerable, it's transformational. Every time you face discomfort and stay with it, you teach your brain, I can do hard things. And that belief becomes your edge. Third, optimize your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Your habits are not just a matter of willpower, they are shaped by cues, light, noise, people, even the placement of your phone. Design your space to make excellence the default. Remove friction for good behaviors. Create speed bumps for the ones that sabotage you. You want to eat better. Rearrange your kitchen. Want to read more. Put the book where your phone used to be. Environment isn't passive, it's a lever, and it's one most people ignore. Let me be clear. This isn't about hacks, it's about architecture. You're building the foundation of the person you want to become. Your brain is listening. Every action is a vote for the future version of you. So the question is, what are you voting for? People talk about motivation, but the truth is, motivation is a fleeting state. What lasts are systems. What lasts is identity. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your rituals. You want massive change. Build small, consistent systems and let them stack. Compound interest isn't just for money. It's for mindset, for energy, for momentum, and finally, live with urgency, not panic. There's a difference. Panic is chaotic. Urgency is clear. Urgency says, my time matters. My energy is precious. My attention is my most valuable asset. Every day you delay is a day you can't get back. And once you start living like that, you stop procrastinating your purpose. You start aligning your behavior with your potential. 3 things: master your mornings, train discomfort, optimize your environment. These aren't trendy tips. These are foundational principles backed by science and sharpened by experience. You start doing them consistently, your brain changes. Your identity shifts, your life transforms, and when that happens, people will ask what the secret was. Let them, you'll know. It wasn't a secret at all. Master your mornings. Let me ask you something simple. How do you start your day? Because how you start anything shapes everything. The first 60 minutes after you wake up, those are not ordinary minutes. They are the most neurologically potent, hormonally charged, and habit-forming moments of your entire day. Your brain is transitioning from a theta, dominant state, ideal for programming your subconscious, into a high alert, learning, ready state. If you understand the power of this window and take control of it, you can reshape not just your day, but your entire life. This is about more than just waking up early. It's about what you do with the first hour once you're awake. Mastering your mornings is about engaging your biology before the world starts engaging your attention. It's reclaiming your brain before your phone hijacks it. It's building momentum before the demands of the day drain you. Let's break it down. The first thing your brain needs is light. Not the glow of your screen, but natural sunlight. Within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking, you need to get sunlight into your eyes. Why? Because light hitting your retina signals your suprachiasmatic nucleus, a small region in your hypothalamus, to regulate your circadian rhythm. This single act sets off a cascade, cortisol spikes at the right time, dopamine levels begin to rise, and melatonin, in the sleep hormone, is suppressed. This isn't just theory, this is hard neuroscience. Sunlight in the morning literally sets your body's internal clock to be more awake during the day and more tired at night, which improves focus, performance, and sleep quality. Next, movement. You don't need to crush a workout at 5:00 a.m. If that's not your style, but your body needs to move, motion activates the vestibular system, raises your heart rate slightly, and begins producing norepinephrine, a chemical that sharpens alertness and primes your brain for learning. Even just 5 to 10 minutes of bodyweight movement, stretching, or walking outside can fire up your nervous system like flipping a switch. Stillness is the enemy of activation. Motion is the catalyst. Then there's breath. Most people wake up and immediately reach for caffeine, but the fastest, most reliable way to energize your brain and body is to breathe deeply and intentionally. Try a series of deep nasal inhales followed by short exhales, a physiological sigh. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system and reduces anxiety, even as it sharpens mental clarity. Controlled breathing isn't a luxury, it's a tool. It's a signal to your system, I am in control. Once you've activated your body and your brain, now you engage with intention. This is the time to set your mental compass. Journaling, visualization, or even 5 minutes of silence can help direct your focus. Why does this matter? Because your dopamine system, the same one responsible for drive, motivation, and attention, responds to targets. You need a reason to be awake, a reason to act, a reason to pursue discomfort. Defining that reason early wires your system for pursuit, not passivity. Let me be blunt. If you start your day reacting to notifications, emails, or stress, you're not driving your life, you're being driven. And every day you live like that, you're conditioning your brain to chase noise instead of meaning. But if you choose to master your mornings, you are telling your nervous system, we lead, we don't follow. Mastering your morning isn't about discipline for discipline's sake. It's about creating a daily window where you are at your most aligned. Biologically, mentally, emotionally. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency, because every single time you wake up and take ownership of that first hour, you're not just winning the morning, you're rewiring your identity, and the person who consistently wins the morning. That's the person who eventually wins the game. Train discomfort like a muscle. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your gateway to growth. Every meaningful transformation, mental, physical, emotional, lives on the other side of discomfort. And yet, most people spend their entire lives avoiding it. They run from cold, from effort, from friction, from uncertainty. But here's the truth. Comfort is a slow death. And if you want to change your life forever, you need to train discomfort like a muscle. Why like a muscle? Because it behaves like one. The more you expose yourself to controlled doses of discomfort, the more resilient you become, the stronger your capacity grows. And just like muscles adapt to stress through progressive overload, your nervous system adapts to challenges when you deliberately confront them. Let's look at the science. When you engage with discomfort, your body initiates a stress response. Cortisol rises, heart rate increases, adrenaline kicks in. But here's the key. When you face that discomfort voluntarily, in a setting you choose, your brain interprets that stress differently. You're not a victim, you're in control. That difference changes the neurochemical equation. Dopamine gets released not just when you achieve relief, but during the process of pushing through. This is where resilience is born. Cold showers, intense workouts, sitting in stillness with your thoughts, tackling difficult conversations, public speaking, fasting, rejection, repetition, all of these are forms of discomfort training. And every time you do them voluntarily, you're not just building willpower. You're teaching your nervous system that stress is not a threat, it's a tool. Now, most people wait for life to force them into discomfort. A crisis, a breakup, a failure, but if you wait for life to train you, it will break you. You have to choose discomfort before it chooses you. You have to step into the storm on your terms. That's how you gain control. Look at high performers in any field: athletes, entrepreneurs, soldiers, creatives. What separates them isn't talent alone. It's their relationship with discomfort. They don't tolerate it. They train in it. They seek it. They use it as a mirror to expose their weaknesses and a forge to build their strengths. They have built their identity not around ease, but around effort, and make no mistake, this doesn't mean suffering aimlessly. This is targeted, purposeful challenge. It's waking up early when you don't want to. It's choosing the harder path when the easy one is available. It's sitting in the tension instead of escaping it with distractions. That's how you stretch your threshold. That's how you grow your tolerance for pressure. That's how you build internal confidence. Because you've proven to yourself that you can do hard things, discomfort is not a punishment. It's feedback. It tells you where the edge is, and that edge is where life gets interesting, because the edge is where growth lives. When you repeatedly flirt with that edge without breaking, you expand your range. What used to scare you becomes your warm-up. What used to exhaust you becomes your baseline. The magic isn't in the pain. The magic is in who you become on the other side of it. That's the real transformation. So start small: cold exposure, daily workouts, reading dense material, practicing presence, saying no when it's hard. These are reps. Every rep makes you stronger. Every rep reinforces identity, and the most powerful identity you can adopt. I am the kind of person who does hard things, because when discomfort no longer stops you, nothing can. Optimize your environment. You are not just a product of your choices, you are a product of your environment. That's not a motivational line, it's neuroscience. Your brain is a prediction machine. It constantly scans the environment for cues, and it uses those cues to guide your behavior, often before you're even aware of it. Which means this: your environment is either your accelerator or your anchor. If you want to change your life, one of the fastest, most underrated strategies is to change your surroundings. You must design your environment to reflect your goals, not your distractions. You must build a space, a life, that makes the right behaviors easy and the wrong ones harder. Start by understanding this. Your brain takes shortcuts. It loves patterns. It relies on visual and sensory triggers to tell it what to do next. You don't check your phone because you made a conscious decision. You check it because it's in sight. You don't eat that processed snack because you're hungry. You eat it because it's within reach. The environment pulls you into action long before you've had time to think. So instead of relying on willpower, which is finite, start relying on architecture. Your willpower may run out by 10 a.m., but a well-designed environment will keep working for you all day. Want to read more? Put a book next to your bed and your phone in another room. Want to eat better? Don't just buy healthier food. Place it front and center. Want to focus deeply? Create a space where focus is the default. Clean desk, no notifications, limited stimuli, and a clear start ritual. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your surroundings. And this isn't just about physical space, it's also about social space. Who are you around? Who are you listening to? Who do you let into your mental environment? Because emotions, behaviors, and energy are contagious. You become like the people you spend time with, not because you're weak, but because your brain is wired to adapt to the tribe. If you want to level up, you may need to level out of some circles. That doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you intentional. Now let's talk digital environment. Your phone is not neutral. Your social media feed is not passive. You're not just consuming, you're being programmed. Your focus, your mood, your beliefs are being shaped by what you allow into that mental space. Clean it up, unfollow, mute, delete, curate your inputs like your life depends on it, because it does. Even your calendar is part of your environment. If your goals aren't scheduled, they're optional, and optional goals rarely become reality. Block time for what matters. Make your growth non-negotiable. Treat your time like an elite athlete treats their training, with structure, with precision, with purpose. This is the truth most people miss. Discipline becomes easy when the environment is right, and discipline becomes nearly impossible when the environment is against you. So stop trying to muscle a system designed to distract you. Build a new system. This is your power. You don't have to wait for motivation. You don't have to rely on discipline. You can engineer your behavior by redesigning the world around you. The more you align your environment with your vision, the more your habits take care of themselves. So ask yourself, does your environment reflect your aspirations or your excuses? Is it pulling you forward or pulling you down? Use neuroplasticity to your advantage. You are not stuck. That's not just a hopeful belief, it's a biological fact. No matter your age, background, or history, your brain has the capacity to change, to rewire, to grow. This is the science of neuroplasticity, and it is the cornerstone of transformation. Neuroplasticity simply means this: your brain is moldable, it changes based on how you use it. Every thought you think, every skill you practice, every habit you repeat, these experiences shape your neural architecture. Like a muscle adapting to training, your brain physically rewires itself based on what you repeatedly do and focus on. You are literally sculpting your identity with your actions and attention, and here's the key: neuroplasticity is always happening. The question is not if your brain is changing. The question is how you're directing that change. Are you shaping your brain deliberately, or is your environment shaping it for you? Are you reinforcing strength, clarity, focus, or distraction, fear, and self-doubt? Let's make this practical. The first principle of neuroplasticity is attention. What you focus on grows. When you direct your attention to a task, a skill, or a new mindset, you activate specific neural circuits. The more often you return your focus there, the stronger those circuits become. Focus is not just about productivity, it's the gateway to rewiring your mind. Every time you break distraction and return to what matters, you're literally building the muscle of attention. The second principle is repetition. Change doesn't happen once, it happens through deliberate repetition. This is why habits are so powerful. Every time you perform a behavior, good or bad, you reinforce a neural loop. That loop gets stronger, faster, more automatic. Neuroplasticity favors consistency over intensity. You don't need heroic effort once. You need small, focused actions repeated often. That's how transformation becomes permanent. Third is emotion. Neuroplasticity is supercharged when emotions are high. That's why emotionally intense events, both positive and negative, get etched deeply into memory. You can leverage this when you attach emotion to your goals: urgency, passion, conviction. You increase the brain's receptivity to change. You create a chemical environment for transformation. Don't just go through the motions, feel your purpose, own your intensity. Fourth, sleep and recovery. Most people ignore this, but the consolidation of learning and neural change happens after the effort. During deep sleep, your brain literally replays the patterns you practiced during the day, strengthening them. If you grind hard but neglect sleep, you're losing the gains. Recovery isn't weakness. It's the phase where plasticity becomes permanent. And finally, belief. What you believe about your ability to change shapes how your brain changes. If you believe you're stuck, your actions will reflect that, and your brain will follow. But if you believe change is possible, you'll act accordingly. And those actions drive the very plasticity that creates change. It becomes a loop. Belief drives behavior, behavior rewires the brain, and the rewired brain reinforces new belief. This is your power. You are not a fixed identity. You are a work in progress. By design, you are a sculptor and your brain is the clay, but you must pick up the tools, you must direct the process. Neuroplasticity doesn't happen by accident, it happens by intention. So train your focus, repeat the right habits, feel the urgency, rest strategically, and above all, believe in your ability to change, because once you understand that your brain is fluid, not fixed, you stop saying "I can't" and start saying "I'm not there yet." You don't just have a brain. You have a living system of potential that's waiting for your command. Rewire your identity through action. You are not who you say you are. You are not even who you believe you are. You are what you consistently do. That's the raw truth most people never hear. Identity is not formed in the mind, it's forged through action. If you want to change your life forever, you must stop trying to think your way into a new identity and start acting your way into one. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you believe you are. Not just metaphorically, but biologically. Your nervous system tracks what you do, it encodes it. It integrates your behavior into your self-concept. If you consistently show up and train, your brain starts identifying as the kind of person who trains. If you face discomfort head-on, your system starts recognizing you as resilient, focused, and mentally tough. The reverse is also true. Avoid things long enough, and you start reinforcing an identity built on hesitation, fear, and doubt. Here's the problem: most people try to change their lives by starting with mindset. They want to feel confident before they take action. They want to believe in themselves before they move, but confidence doesn't come first. Evidence does, and evidence is built through action. Let me be clear. You don't need to feel ready. You need to act anyway. That's how you start building the neurochemical and behavioral wiring of a new identity. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure, it's about progress. It gets released when you take purposeful action, especially toward a challenging goal. Each small win, getting up early, finishing that workout, saying no to what doesn't serve you, sends a signal to your system: we are becoming someone new, and that signal becomes a loop. Action leads to feedback. Feedback leads to identity. Identity fuels more action. This loop, when done with consistency, rewires your brain. It's called self-directed neuroplasticity. You're not just changing habits, you're reshaping how your brain sees you. Here's the most empowering part: the shift doesn't require massive change overnight. It begins with small, consistent, aligned actions. When you make your bed, track your meals, speak up when you're nervous, or stick to a commitment when it's inconvenient, you are training a new identity. Not with words, but with evidence, and over time, the old identity, the one built on procrastination, fear, or inconsistency, starts to fade because you've stopped feeding it. Your new identity grows because you keep reinforcing it with proof. But you must be intentional. What identity are you feeding? Are your actions in alignment with the future version of yourself, or are they keeping you anchored to the past? Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for clarity. Action is clarity. Movement is transformation. You don't need a perfect plan. You need momentum, and once you build it, your brain catches up. It begins to see you differently. And when your brain sees you differently, the world does too. You want to change your life. Stop asking, "Who am I?" Start asking, "What would the person I want to become do right now?" Then do that. Again and again and again. Because in the end, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. And the fastest way to upgrade your identity is to act like the person you're becoming before you fully believe you are. Act first, identity follows. Eliminate the noise, amplify the signal. There's never been more information in the world, and never more distraction. We are drowning in inputs, notifications, opinions, ads, algorithms, a constant, relentless flood of noise that buries the one thing that truly matters: your signal. The signal is your purpose, your vision, your truth, and the noise, it's everything that pulls you away from it. If you want to change your life forever, you need to get brutally clear about this. Most of what's coming at you is noise, and if you don't eliminate it, it will dominate you. It will fill your brain with urgency, but not importance. Motion, but not progress. It will hijack your focus, split your energy, and scatter your life force across 1,000 meaningless directions. This is not just about productivity, it's about identity, because where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, you grow. So if your attention is constantly being stolen, you're being shaped by forces you didn't choose. Your brain is plastic. It adapts to the inputs it receives. If you feed it junk, it will reflect that. If you feed it clarity, it will amplify that. Here's what most people don't realize. Focus isn't something you have. It's something you train, and you train it by subtraction, not addition. You don't become focused by trying to juggle more. You become focused by removing what doesn't matter. Look around your environment. How many things in your space are cues for distraction? How many tabs, apps, conversations, notifications are fighting for your attention? Every single one of them is a leak, and over time, those small leaks drain your momentum, your willpower, your power to act decisively. You want power? Start with silence. Create white space in your life. Cut the noise. You don't need to be available to everyone all the time. You don't need to scroll every feed. You don't need to answer every message instantly. You don't need to consume more. You need to listen to less so you can hear more. Because underneath the noise is your signal, and the signal is trying to guide you, that whisper of intuition, that surge of inspiration, that inner compass pointing to what matters, but you can't hear the signal if your mind is cluttered. You can't follow your purpose if your path is buried under noise. So here's the move: audit everything, your physical space, your digital life, your social circles, your calendar. Ask, does this amplify my signal? Does this align with my vision, or is it just more noise? When you get ruthless about this, something profound happens. Your clarity sharpens, your energy returns, your decisions become faster, cleaner, more instinctive. You stop second guessing because you're no longer diluted, you're aligned, and in this state you become dangerous, not to others, but to limitation. You become precise, intentional, powerful. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop getting pulled in every direction and start moving like a laser, straight into your potential. Eliminating the noise isn't about escaping life, it's about reclaiming it. Your greatest ideas, your most powerful breakthroughs, your boldest transformations, they don't live in the noise, they live in the space beneath it, in the stillness, in the signal. So make a choice. Mute the noise, protect your mind, curate your inputs, reclaim your attention, and watch your life sharpen into something unstoppable, because once you amplify your signal, your truth, your vision, your focus, everything changes. You've heard the truths, not theories, not feel. Good fluff. Truths rooted in biology, behavior, and bold action. You've got the tools, the science, the structure. Now you have a decision to make. Because transformation doesn't happen just because you understand something. It happens when you embody it, when you take what you've learned and move, apply, integrate, lave it, decide to become the architect of your mind, master your mornings not through hustle, but through intention. Optimize your environment so it pulls you forward rather than holds you back. Use the science of neuroplasticity to reshape what you think is possible. Rewire your identity not by thinking differently, but by acting differently. Ruthlessly cut the noise that drains your power and tune into the signal, that inner voice that's been waiting for permission to lead. You are not a fixed story. You are a pattern of decisions, and every day is a new vote for the person you're becoming. The future doesn't belong to the smartest, the strongest, or the luckiest. It belongs to those who are most aligned, aligned with purpose, aligned with structure, aligned with truth. That alignment begins with one choice: to stop being a passenger in your own life. No more waiting, no more wishing, no more watching others rise while you doubt your own strength. This is your moment to shift, not tomorrow, not next month, now, because when you take control of your brain, your behavior, your beliefs, you take control of your life. And once that happens, there is no going back.